Yeah, what are you calling this season, babe?
I don't know what to call it. Well, I've been calling it.
Yes,
I've been calling it. We are in our YOLO phase of life.
right. And you know,
YOLO, baby.
I see you all the way in with 2 feet, okay, and I'm a hesitant YOLO participant.
Yes.
And so you are all the way in, and I think you've been there for a couple of years now.
I think when I hit the big 5-0, something changed in me.
I think it also changed before that, like just a little bit before that, and
Just
and
approaching it, I was like, you know what? I just don't care no more.
so I think I think that I'm trying to get into that phase, but I ain't ready. Welcome. This is For Better and Worth.
The podcast where we don't believe you have to sacrifice your relationship while you grow and build your net worth.
We are your hosts.
I'm Chris.
And I'm Ericka Young, and we're so glad you're joining us today.
All right, y'all, let's get into it. Hey, babe, how you doing?
I'm pretty good. I just went on a walk, and it felt good, and it was lovely outside, and so I feel like the walks always reset me. You know what I'm
Old man
saying?
Winter he has been holding on
I know.
for dear life.
Because
And
it's not even been like, it's been a topsy-turvy spring.
yeah. And this is finally a day that we can enjoy.
Hopefully.
The sun is shining, the weather is nice. This is what spring is supposed to be. And old man Winter, just go hibernate for a little while.
We need you to go away.
Right.
I looked at the weather forecast and I saw that it potentially will rain tomorrow. So although my car is extremely dirty right now, I'm going to wait
Yeah.
because I don't play these games. I'm not about to get a car wash the day before it rains.
It's pretty par for the course.
I'm not taking chances that it's going to rain on my car. I'm going to
Right.
wait another day, maybe two probably, before I get my car washed. And even though it's pretty bad.
I appreciate your persistence to ensure that your car wash lasts
I'm not trying
longer
to,
than a day or two.
I'm not trying to waste no money or time. That's the other thing is those things take a long time. Anywho,
Well, look, we are going to, as we always do, invite you guys into our life and into, how we actually make decisions. And it's interesting, because people, they kind of put out what they want you to see.
mm,
And we really try and be transparent and just show you that we don't have it all figured out. And we are telling you things that we ourselves do. And so, we have been in this phase of life where, we're not really looking to move. So we are investing in our home, doing remodel projects and, different things. We've been doing these things over the last few years since our oldest child moved and has been on her own. And we've got one more. And we are entering that true empty nester phase, like fully being empty nested.
yeah, what are you calling this season, babe?
I don't know what to call it. Well, I've been calling it.
Yes,
I've been calling it. We are in our YOLO phase of life.
right. And
YOLO, baby.
I see you all the way in with 2 feet, okay, and I'm a hesitant YOLO participant.
Yes.
And so you are all the way in, and I think you've been there for a couple of years now.
I think when I hit the big 5-0, something changed in me.
I think it also changed before that, like just a little bit before that, and
Just approaching it, I was like, you know what? I just don't care no more.
so I think I think that I'm trying to get into that phase, but I ain't ready, and I'm not,
Yeah.
and my YOLO is very different from yours.
Yeah, that's
And
true.
so I'm like, I say I'm in it, and then I'm like, wait a minute, hold on. That don't feel good.
Now let me preface this. People are gonna laugh probably when they hear this, but I'm a responsible YOLOer.
What does that mean?
I'm YOLO to a point.
Hmm.
And when that point starts to get comfortable, I'll be like, hold on, God willing, I wanna live a little bit longer. So you only live once, but let's put this off for a little
So
while.
your point is different than my point.
Yes, that's true. That's true.
So a couple years ago, we shared on the podcast when we first started our podcast that we're renovating our kitchen, and we went through our decision making process and all of that.
Yes.
And we pushed off a portion of what we thought would be a reno at that time, which was our bathrooms. And we decided at that time just to do the kitchen instead of the bathrooms. We were thinking, do we do the kitchen and bath, or just the baths, or just the kitchen? And we chose just the kitchen.
Right. And it turned out great.
We love it.
And I think that's always a factor when you're trying to make a decision. A big financial decision is count all of the costs, because too many times people just jump off and start saying, I'm going to do something, and they don't count the costs because either they are, financing it, or they're financing it with, a home equity line of credit or some other means of credit. And I must say that when you're financing, projects or anything, it feels a lot different when you are using a debt mechanism or vehicle versus financing it with cash, because that cash, it just hits different.
Oh my gosh.
It's like, hold on, you want me to spend what? And so you have to start saying like, man, how bad do I really want this?
Yeah.
And we talked about the bigger yes, because you say no to some things so you can say yes to other things.
So we're in that decision making process right now.
Right. And I think I was like, yo, love. What?
That last didn't come out.
I was like, yo, who?
So we are looking at our main bathroom, our owner suite bathroom,
Primary bath,
as well as the guest bathroom. We
secondary
want
bath.
to remodel those, and that has, we already had a quote actually for the labor part of that, but we hadn't fully vetted out a quote for the
all the
rest
materials and everything that's required. It's a lot of work.
And we had one idea, I think 2 weeks ago, on what the total number would be. And as the time has progressed, so has the money.
Creep.
and Luther ain't helping
Luther
me.
Vandross. Creep.
He ain't helping me today. So anyway, so we now
they call that scope creep.
Exactly. And it also is called bougie.
Hold on now. Don't be pointing fingers.
I didn't point fingers because I think I have to do with that as well. There are things that I want in this that are bougie.
Right.
Okay?
You know me. Look, you know me. I am of the mindset that if you decide to do something, do it to the best of your ability within reason. And so if I'm going to make a decision to do a renovation, I'm going to try and it's always good, better, best. And, I'm always pushing the limit to get, better, best. And I really want best, but sometimes I have to go, better, best. And I want to get, the most out of something that I can get, because I intend to do things once. And I always feel like if you do it once and you do it right, you'll get the greatest amount of value.
Right. However, your taste is high end. Okay.
Ericka, can you please pass me the Grey Poupon?
You know what? I can't with you. Dude from the east side of Detroit, the literal hood, okay? And he over here talking about, can you pass me the Grey Poupon? Nah, I ain't got none of that. Listen, now I'm looking like the hood chick over here.
Right. Your Aunt Betty would tell you, Ericka.
Yes, she would.
Cut it out.
She's a teacher and she always corrects my English. But anyway, so...
Right.
So now we have a realistic view of the cost of the 2 bathrooms renovation. And a couple days ago, I was just sitting on the couch and I was like, let me see how much our mortgage is, because our next goal
we are very close to
pay
the
that
end.
off.
Yeah, very close to the end.
And when I looked at it, because I hadn't looked at it in a couple months, and when I looked at it, I was like, oh my gosh, it's the same as this potential renovation for these 2 bathrooms. And so then for me, it brought up this dilemma. Like, I mean, the very first thing was, wow, like, should we just do that instead?
Right.
Is it irresponsible? Like, that was the word in my head. Like, is it irresponsible to spend this money on a renovation versus pay the home off. And so I just got into this quandary. And then there's a third option of do
Do
nothing.
nothing.
Just sit still. Don't do the renovation. Don't pay the house off.
Sit on the cash.
Sit on the cash, and because you don't know what will come.
Right. And
And
there's a lot of uncertainty out in the air and,
mhm.
the new administration. So it's like, we cash is king. You want to sit on the cash for a while. So it's like, well, man, what do we do? So we're like both.
Now, I will say, even after the renovation, or if we were to pay off the house, we would still have a solid emergency fund.
Right.
Okay.
Now, don't get it twisted. We are not going to make a decision to spend cash and not have a successfully funded emergency fund.
That, and we're not taking it out of our home. We're not doing a HELOC of any kind.
Nope.
We're not taking any funds out of our retirement accounts to do this work.
This has been very thoughtful and very methodical.
Yeah, so we save some money. You had a bonus, and so we're trying to be reasonable with our wants and desires, and
Right.
also responsible with the money that God has entrusted to us. And so
I think a lot of people, they would just do HELOC, home equity lines of credit, or take out other credit with home improvement stores,
just credit cards too.
right, to just say, I'm gonna fund it, I'm gonna just do it, and we are just so methodical, like, well, okay, we know the costs, and we plan for it, but once it goes over our threshold by $20, we're like, hold on. We will reevaluate the whole decision as soon as it goes past a level that we already set.
Because here's the thing. We just got a quote. And in my mind, I was like, man, it would be wrong. I would feel bad for having that guy come out and give us this whole quote. And then we decide we ain't doing it.
Yeah.
And he's already did that. He did that 2 years ago. And on top of that, so we got
The
this
favor
quote.
of God is upon us.
Oh, that is not what I was about to say, but it's true. But 2 years
What are you
ago,
about to say?
2 years ago, we got this quote from him, decided on a partial project, not the full project. And then last year, we decided to punt this down the
Right.
road as well because we made a different choice.
He's probably like, I'm gonna stop messing around with you all.
Well, we didn't talk to him last year, remember?
Yeah.
So, but all I'm saying is we have been waiting for this renovation for 2 years. And so there is the desire is more deep now. Because we feel like we have been waiting, and then but we're even closer to the house payoff, so that is
Right.
also pretty strong. So it is a real dilemma.
So I think as I consider this, and I hope that anybody who's listening to the podcast or watching on YouTube, we want you to take this same step and go through the same process of pressing pause for a minute and stepping back, and count the costs. The Bible says count the costs. Like before you get started, you can finish. And that's what a lot of people don't do. There's the craze of all these home improvement shows, and there's still a bunch of home improvement shows, and there's always things that come up that they have to make decisions and pivots. So you got to have some holdbacks. So you got to kind of anticipate a little bit more.
And so I would say that needs to be a good 10%.
Right. But the thing I also consider is that this improvement, it should add immediate value to the bottom line value of our home. And so it's like, okay, so now we have that. So we're increasing the value of our largest asset, which is our home. Okay, well, that's smart. And we're in a window where if we did nothing, our home would be paid off in less than a couple of years. If we did nothing but other than just pay the mortgage. So it's like, well, okay. And then we think about, well, how much interest are we saving if we pay it off early?
Mm-hmm.
It's not a whole lot.
We calculated it.
that we're going to save by paying it off, 22 months early. So it's like, well, man. So it's like all these things are going through our head. And we share this with you because we want you to be mindful of how you make decisions. And you have to take all the factors, because once we decide something, we're going to roll with it. And we're not going to have any regret, because either way, we're going to YOLO one way or another. But what I do know is that no matter if it's today or if it's in a year or if it's in 2 years, both things are going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
The bathrooms will be remodeled and the house will be paid off.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just a matter of today or another day.
And I thought about this as well is does the impending tariff hike change
Does
our
that factor
decision?
in?
Because if in a year from now all the goods are higher in cost, does that cause me to think differently about
Right.
do I want to do this or not? And likely the truth of the matter is that the cost of tariffs would be larger than what we would save on the mortgage should we decide
To punt it down the road.
right. And so I was like, wait a second. I mean, like it would be massively more than the savings of the interest. And so in that regard, I was like, that is easy math that makes sense to me. And the peace of mind, even if the tariff didn't even go into effect or affect the goods that we are trying to purchase, like it would still give me peace of mind knowing, okay, hold on, we got it done. So we warded against that potential threat, and then we're on the front side of that.
As you were talking, I just considered something.
Okay.
Because and we talked about this, so it's not really new, but we make this decision, I think we would make a commitment to replenish some of that savings over a 6-month period over the course of 2025. So then it doesn't make it feel as hard because whatever we put out, we would be bringing some of that back in from a savings perspective over the last half of 25.
Yeah, we wouldn't replace it. We couldn't
Right.
we couldn't pay,
We couldn't save that
save all
much.
of that by the end of the year. But that would
it would be
nice.
significant.
That
It
would
would
be
be a
nice.
significant, rollback of what we could
Mhm.
save over the period of that time. So it's like
Mhm.
I just think it's important that when you're making a decision, you write down and look at all the scenarios because we do that. And I think the good thing that we do also as another good practice is we walk away, like take a moment away and not even talk about it. Just let the thought process, let God speak to you.
Yeah, I like to sleep on all decisions,
Yeah.
and I don't
Oh, a big decision for sure.
I don't want and I feel like if we get too ahead of ourselves, we might get too far gone in a decision that, we're I just think we're missing some potential wise steps. Even, what I did too was I shared it with a friend and said, "Hey, so we're considering this." Just briefly, short synopsis, didn't give too much detail to it. And hands down, he said, "Oh, I would pay the you got to be crazy. I would pay the mortgage off." And then when I said, "Yeah, that's going to happen for sure, potentially in like a year or two anyway." Like that's not even in terms of
Right.
that,
It's
we would
not a
just be
question.
accelerating it, and we've paid the majority of the interest we're paying anyway. And he was like, "Oh, well then I would be tempted to do the bathrooms too." So he changed his mind as soon as I
Right.
gave him that, because it wasn't like it's not like the amount is so massive that the length of time that our mortgage would take to get paid off, is 10 years. That's not the case. And so when he thought about that, he was like, "Oh, well, I would be tempted as well, especially since it's a 20-year-old home."
Look, Chat GPT even said,
We put it in the Chat
Chat
GPT.
GPT said, "Oh, wait a minute, 2 bathrooms, you should do the remodel."
Because Chat GPT said if it was one bathroom at that cost, it's a
No.
toss up.
Yeah, it's like-
said
it's
it's a
close,
toss up,
yep.
right? But then when we said 2 bathrooms, they were like, "Oh yeah, do it because it'll increase the
It'll
value
increase
of
the
your home."
value of your property, your home.
And we have to be careful because I'm not banking on it being a dollar for dollar, increase in the
Yeah.
value of our home.
I don't think it will be either, but I think it will be
But
significant. Though.
usually they say for like bathrooms and for kitchens, it's like, 80% of the value or 80% of how much it costs you to put it in. But I think it'll cause our house to stand out. And that's
Well,
huge.
and that's the thing is that we're not looking to sell.
Right.
So
We want to enjoy
don't
it.
call me asking me if I'm looking to sell because I'm
No,
not.
we want to enjoy it. And down the line, if we decide to sell, we want to make sure that it's an investment that, we're proud of.
Right. But then
So,
also, we've shared with you all that we consider moving, buying a different home, getting some of this updated stuff, and the cost of that
that's true.
is significantly more than any remodel.
I appreciate you bringing that back because when we were talking about, like, literally, we were talking about, I shouldn't say we were talking about moving, but we were really enticed by this home, the location, and
The
just
fresh, the
the
newness.
newness of it. And when we were looking at the numbers, we were like, this is setting us back. And
Right.
so that is actually what caused us to decide to
To start
do
renovating.
renovations that, were
Yep.
inside the home. And so,
It's like the math really wasn't mathing
yeah,
to make that kind of move. And
that's
I
true.
forgot about
Yeah.
that. But thinking about it now, it's kind of like,
Mhm.
oh, to get what we wanted, it would actually be a fraction
Mhm.
of the cost of going out and getting a new property. And that should be a lesson to everybody out there listening and watching, is that people move because they want to get something fresh or new, and they don't think about, like, oh, I'm gonna spend $200,000 or $300,000 more for what I'm looking for, and then you put yourself in a situation where you're back in the mortgage for 20 years, 15
15, 30
years, 30
years. I mean,
years,
whatever.
right? And that's like, that right there. Oh man, I just got sick to my stomach
So,
thinking about that.
listen, you got sick to your stomach thinking about that. And I still got sick to my stomach thinking about this total. Immediately after we got this quote for the labor, I went to work because the sister don't play. I am serious about my budgets, and
Right.
I have now a spreadsheet of all of the items down to the cost of a mirror, the cost of,
Right.
grout, and all the
You know
things.
what? You
And
know what?
I
You know what I know? What I know that I know that I know is that when we make this decision and we move forward, Johnny on the spot over here is gonna find value where we can save somewhere.
I always save us money.
Yes. Yes, I
I
appreciate that.
save you money every
I
day.
appreciate that.
I literally, I am not playing any games. I just,
Yeah.
I think what it is
Yeah.
I think what it is I need space to
Yeah.
get to the place where I'm like, all right, now I got to do the work of, like, figuring out how to save us some money.
You know what it is? I think you just need space to just let it ruminate a little bit, and just think about all the different options. And that's the good thing about not making quick, impromptu decisions, is when you give yourself time and space to, like, really think things through. I just think it provides clarity for you. And it's that clarity that helps you make the best decisions, because you're not trying to hurry and make a decision when you need to just, slow down. And sometimes slowing down is one of the best things that you can do, because people go and they say, oh, we're going to go look at cars today. Then what happens? 9 times out of 10, they end up coming home with a car
Mhm.
because they have been persuaded. It was a deal you couldn't pass up. And then you like, man, was this the right thing? Whereas we'll tell people before we even go to a car dealer, we communicate over the phone, over internet. We know the price. We know everything before we walk in. And it's like, if we're just going to look at a car, we literally say, hey, I just want to see it. I just want to test drive it. And we are out of there.
Speaking of cars, so we had talked about me getting another vehicle next year because my vehicle is 10 years old now.
Mm-hmm.
Has great mileage. It's a lovely car. Okay. And we were talking about trying to replace it before it hit 100,000 miles. And you talking about vehicles has made me think I would rather do the bathrooms than get another car. I really would. If
That's fair.
in this moment, right?
Yeah.
So in 2 years I will likely have another car. But if it's within the next year, I'm willing to put the car off. I don't care that much.
Yeah.
I guess in terms of priority, I'd rather, every day walk into this bathroom. Because there are days I don't even step into my car. There are
Yeah.
days that I don't drive my car. I'm here working at home or whatever, and we drive your car or whatever. I love my car. It's cool. It serves the purpose, but I'm not like, I don't have to have a new car.
I think that's important because that's priority.
It
Like
is.
you're
For in my
prioritizing.
mind, if I have to
Yep.
choose, I'm gonna choose the bathroom every day.
You're prioritizing
Right
what's
now.
most important to you.
Mm-hmm.
And I think when people have a lot of things that they want to do, people just make a decision to do it all.
Mm.
And you do it all, then you look back and you find yourself in a financial bind because you've extended yourself, you've used more of your savings or more of your disposable or discretionary cash should you have it, or you said, like me, I'm YOLO, I'm gonna do it all, and then you stop and look back and you're like, oh man, I've done too much.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we stop, we assess, make a decision, then move forward. And even sometimes in the midst of that decision, if it's something that we can't roll back from and we've committed to it, we'll see it through. But sometimes we'll even say, hold on, is this still the right thing to do? We'll reevaluate
Mm-hmm.
in the process, and that's not something that people typically will do. They will I just want to do the thing that's going to make me feel good, the thing that's going to look good, and it's not always the thing that's best for you because sometimes delayed decision making is the better decision to make.
So that's the other thing about this as well, is that this is for us. Nobody is gonna see this bathroom but us. This is literally the gift for us.
Yeah,
The kitchen, more people will see and be
that's
able
true.
to enjoy, but these bathrooms, that's a personal thing. And so we really have to know that it's for us. And I think thinking about that, that's helpful. Like the trip. The trip last year, that was for our family. And
The trip last year, I had trepidation.
nobody else got to benefit from that.
Right.
Our backyard, our friends get to benefit from that. Our family gets to benefit from that. But when we're in our bathroom, that is just us. And so it feels a little extravagant in that way because and sometimes you do that for yourself. I mean, at some point, sure, it's a part of an investment, but that's for us.
I'm not doing it for the immediate return on the investment. I just know that I'm always looking for value in my decisions. And so I want to count the cost in total. And so the value to, the value of our property is a benefit. But it's more about how will I feel if I do this, and how would I feel if I don't do it.
Oh, we talked about that too.
Yeah,
So how would you
because
feel if you don't do it? Because I know how you gonna feel if you do.
I think I would be disappointed. I think I would like walk in the bathroom every day like, ugh.
Listen, washing them shower tiles this weekend, I was like, this is some foolishness. Okay?
Hey,
I felt like this bathroom was old.
not that you're gonna have to not, clean the bathroom
No, I know,
anyway,
but I was like, this is ugly. Like, ain't nobody trying to do this no more. Like, I
yeah,
honestly was like
yeah,
disgusted.
yeah. I felt
It
that
felt
from you.
old. I walked in there again. I was like, why am I here? Why does this bathroom look like this? Why am I scrubbing this ugly tile?
But
I'd rather be cleaning some clean, beautiful tile.
what's funny is I think people would like people have come in our home and they're like, oh, they like our home and stuff, but when you live there, you see like, well, that should be this or this should be that. You're the
You see it.
Yeah, I see it, and but people are like, well, what are you talking about? And so, like, you're right, you do it for you, and I think the bigger thing that is helpful to me in my decision is just talking through it right now, and you have to make those decisions for you that are best for you, but I just don't think people take the level of thought going into it that is required to make good, sound decisions. And that's why I keep coming back to that because this is, as much as I hope this helps people who are watching or listening, this is helping me because it just reminds me of the process that we walk through to make sure that at the end of the day, I said, I want to live life with no regrets. Like, I don't want to look back, even though we don't do everything perfectly, we make decisions and sometimes you got to roll with them. I would rather spend more time on the front side, analyzing, reevaluating, analyzing it again, looking for a place to save so that when I say yes, my yes, what's the Bible say? Let your yes be, let your yay be yay and your nay be nay. So I don't want to go back on my decision making process if I've given it the proper time and space to evaluate the pros, the cons, and all of that.
So I asked you, would you be disappointed if we didn't do it? And a couple of days ago, like I love putting things on a scale, right? So one on this scale is don't want to do it at all. 10 on this scale is definitely want to do it. I'm 100%. And I was like an 8 or a 9. Like
Of
I could
wanting to do it.
of wanting to do it. So
Okay.
I was like 80 to 90% there. Like I want to do it, but there is this little lingering, oh no. And after getting the quote, I'm definitely more like a 7 or 8. Okay, I have gone down on the totem pole. And I realize why. The reason why is because I just don't like parting with money. And I looked at my daughter and I said, I'm just like you.
Yeah.
Because
She a
this
saver.
young lady said, I want to go get some books, but I don't want to fill up my car to get there. And I said, "Are you kidding me right now?" She doesn't want to part with her money
She
and
don't want to pay for the gas in the car,
to go get there.
but
Now,
she'd rather spend that money on books.
she probably has enough gas in her car, but she knows that she needs to fill up soon.
Right.
And then yesterday when we went, shopping, she needed some stuff for her internship this summer and she was trying to get some new things or whatever. And we get at you know later years in high school and then through college, we have given our daughters a certain amount of money so that they can take care of their living expenses, their food or their entertainment and their clothing and hair and things like that themselves. And so she has money. We're shopping. You use your money. That's your
But
budget.
we started to leave the house. She was like, "Oh, I forgot my wallet." I was
We're
like, "Oh,
like,
well, here are the keys to get back
you
in the
better go
house."
get that wallet. And when she spent $87
She's like, "Woo, I'm at my threshold."
on like 5 things. Like she found a good sale and she got some cute things. Not a whole lot of stuff, but she got some stuff. Um and she was just like,
I need to
all
put some
right.
space. I need to put some space between
That's what she said.
this purchase and my next purchase. And so she is so like us. Like we're breeding the next generation of
Yes.
psycho financial analysts. So
But it was funny because I was like, I identify with you because now our numbers are vastly different. But I don't
yeah.
like parting with money. And so when I got a much more firm quote, I was like, oh shoot, I'm a
You know
little
what it
more
is?
trepidatious.
You know what it is? I think I was at like a 9, 10 at a number that we were good with.
Mm-hmm.
And then I became like a 7, 8 because it put us over what we thought we would be.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm probably like a 8 to 9 now that I've given it some time to mull it over, because what I'm not going to do, which I've done in the past, is I made a decision to move forward, but then I tried to cut things out, or I tried to cut, a couple corners to save a little bit, and then I had regret.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, nope, not going to do that. If I'm going to do it, I'm just going to part with the money now and be totally happy and invested and just commit to, save and rebuild later.
And that's what honestly is the part that concerns me too. Because I know that the number we have right now is solidly 10% more.
Yeah.
And that's the part that concerns me as well, is that we do have a more firm number today and it is $5,000 more than where I really want it to be right now, for sure.
If it was 5,000 less, it would have been like, oh yeah, let's roll.
Really?
Yeah.
If it was $10,000 less, I'd be like, all right, let's go. But
Well, yeah,
because
of
it's not,
course.
well, I think anyway. So the whole point is that wiggle room is necessary. I'm gonna tell you right now, I have my make it worth it.
Okay, let's roll with it.
So I have 2 things. One is all the things that we have done in the last 5 years, I have no regrets about. So the good news is that I feel like when you and I are in alignment, you know,
That's
we don't look
a good
back.
place to be.
We don't look back and say, "Dang, I wish I would have." Now, I know that you wish that you had your lights, in the
Right.
in the stairs in the backyard.
More
More
lights.
lights. I know that that's one thing you regret, but you don't regret doing the project, which is
No,
huge,
no.
right? And so none of those things where we spent money and decided to go off and do that, do we regret? Now, the other part of this is the reason why I don't have any regrets is because I know that our retirement is on track. We're not reducing any of our investing that we're doing. We are not going to touch our solid emergency fund,
Hmm.
and we're not going into debt. So we have created a safe place in our financial life to be able to make this choice. Thank God we have this choice that we actually have the opportunity to make it. But I would say when you're trying to make any decision, make sure that the rest of your financial house is in order to your standards and where you are in that moment, because I think that that's what will make it worth it in the end, no matter what decision is
Absolutely.
made.
And you know, I thought about what my make it worth it would be, and I think I changed it a little bit
Okay.
because sometimes even when you're in that space, you're in a good financial situation to make a decision, you can operate scared.
Mm.
And I think people will not do things because of something that's fearful that will hold them back. And life is short. And I have leaned into that because I've lost a lot of family members over the course of 10 years or so. And when I think about that, and I think about like trying to hold on to money, it's like enjoying life becomes really important to me. And, creating a legacy, we're well on our way. We say our goal with the podcast and with all that we do was to change our family tree, which that tree is firmly rooted and it's growing more and more every year. And so I think when I talk about my make it worth it, like I've said several times, stop, take a pause, because just pausing, it gives you space to breathe, to process, to think, and to think clearly. Because when you were talking about financial decision making, you need a clear mind to make a decision. You don't go to the car dealership and let them sit you down and give you a couple snacks and some water, and then you end up making, a $50, $60, $70,000 purchase of a vehicle just because you felt good about it.
In the moment.
Right, in the
without
moment.
research.
Right, you
And
gotta say, okay, well, if it feels good right now, it'll feel good tomorrow. It'll feel good the day after that or the day after that. And if they can't wait, then that's not the people to do business with. And so I think for my make it worth it, like I said, give yourself time and space to feel good about the decision that you're making, and don't operate scared. Like when you do it and you commit to it, just move forward with your decision, but have a plan, moving forward. And our plan is already solidly in place, which I feel good about. So whatever we decide to do, it's either today or it's another day. But the decision is going to get made, and now it's just about timing and all of that. So I say just slow down and give yourself time to really think about it, because I think you'll walk away with a much better decision at the end of it.
yeah. This was good. I
I like that I feel like we do a lot of cliffhangers now.
yeah, we do.
It's like we'll come back and we'll let you know.
We'll keep you posted on what we decide.
Right. So you got to tune back in to see, what happened.
That's right. That's right.
This is an unfinished story, but we will let you know what happened.
Stay tuned.
So until next time,
We're out.
thank you for spending some of your time with us today.
We appreciate all of your support. So be sure to subscribe, rate, and review us wherever you listen to this podcast.
You can find us on Instagram at For Better and Worth.
And sign up to receive our free guide, The 7 Reasons Your Money Relationship Isn't Working with Your Partner, on forbetterandworth.com.
Until next time, we're out of here.